What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. Want to do a little altcoin update with y'all. Today we're going to be looking at Ethereum, Litecoin, Digibyte, Link, and Tezos. And what we want to do is look at some areas where we potentially could find some support, a nice bounce area for these altcoins to continue to move to the upside in the longer term. Because what we have to realize is we have not, sorry about that car, guys. Oh my goodness, that was awful. I have my windows open and we got a road out front and that was terrible. Sounded like it was about to explode, so I apologize for that. But what I wanted to get into here was basically looking at Ethereum and stepping back and looking at the big picture, because a lot of the times you'll get these retracements back into the 100, sometimes even into the 200, depending on the altcoin. Do you see this last time when we had, and what we want to do is go back to the last bull market that we are in, and what you can see is that when we have these massive spikes, these up movements, we can retrace all the way back down into this 100, sometimes even into the 200 moving average. And if we take a look at our price range and our percentage here, that's a drop of roughly about 67% we had before. And what I want to do is go through each one of these. The next time we had a drop of about 50%. The next time we had a major move and then a retracement, we ended up dropping about 30%. And what I want to do is go from the top to where we are now and take a look at how far we've dropped down. So right now we have dropped roughly about 27%. So if this is the area that buying pressure can step back in, and what you can see here, guys, is in the long term, we have shaken out this entire market cycle, and we did put in a very important double bottom, and it spans a long distance there. I don't see us going back below $90 ever again for Ethereum. That's just my thoughts on it. Anything can happen, guys, in this market, but for me, this was significant area where there was a lot of buying pressure accumulation that was taking place at the lower levels, and that's why you saw that double bottom. So now what's important for Ethereum, if we take a look at this, is trying to find support off this 60. Right now we're basically in like a long leg doji. If we do end up closing in a long leg doji, we want to see what tomorrow's follow through would look like, and it's needs to come on heavy volume because we had such a high volume sell off here. That's what's going to be important for us, and then potentially try to get back up over top of that $400. But we really need to prove ourselves today and see if the bulls are going to step into this area. If we lose that area, we'd look down to that 332 we've had laid out for quite a while, and then it'd be down to that 100 roughly at around $300. So we have to be prepared, and we need to watch to see what happens with this bounce out of here. If it's a powerful, strong bounce to where we get a lot of volume and can go up and start challenging some of those higher levels, or if this is going to be a weak little reaction and we're going to roll over and drop to lower levels. So that's why this candle today is very important for us, and the follow through that we're going to end up getting tomorrow, if we do get it, will be extremely important. So if we take a look at the technicals, 13 sell, 9 neutral, and a 6 buy is what we're looking at there. Average directional index is a sell, momentum's a sell, and the MACD level is a sell, and this is on the 1-day time frame. And also, if you get some from these videos, guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Appreciate all the love and outpouring. I've talked to many of y'all before. I deal with some health issues, autoimmune disease, and just a struggle in my life, but y'all have been a blessing, and God's helping me get through this, and we'll just continue to keep moving the best we can. But there are days when I won't always be available, but I'll always try to do the best that I can. So I appreciate you being here with me. Next, we're going to move into Litecoin, and for all the prayers too, guys, thank you. So Litecoin's at $49.79, fighting to get back up above this 100 moving average, and that's going to be in white. We retrace that deep for Litecoin. And like we talked about how it's an oscillator. Whenever Bitcoin pumps, Litecoin most likely is going to pump harder. When it dumps, it's going to dump harder. And that just is what it is. But we are still up above this white trend line that we've had here for quite a while. And if you zoom out for Litecoin and really take a look, guys, take a look at how far we have dropped from the $424. So this was our high, then we had our lower high, then our lower high, and then a lower high. So that's why it's so important for us to start getting up over top of that $88, $90 so that we can keep this moving to the upside. We have had a deep retracement. We're just going to have to see if this is an area where we can find support, because we wouldn't want this to be our lower high and then really get pushed down to some deeper levels, right? So that's what we're looking at, is to find that support. If we zoom back in, really want to examine this candle and take a look at it. So we ended up wicking down roughly to about $46.55. You can see the long leg doji that we're fighting with, heavier volume. We need to see what type of volume we end up with today. RSI is down around 37 right now. We've had a stock cross to the downside. We're at 6 and 28 right there. So it's important to, again, watch that bounce that we get out of here. If it's going to be a strong bounce or it's just going to be a weak, feeble bounce where we're going to start going down to lower levels. Okay, so today's really important for us. And then tomorrow is going to be important too if we do have a candle close up above this 100 to see if we get some follow through. So that's going to be Litecoin, guys, sitting at that $50. I mean, just is what it is. This market retraces extremely deep, and that's why I like to swing trade this market. I think that's one of the best things to do in this market with the volatility. So next we're going to get in Digibyte. And if you're here for Digibyte, let me know down low. We haven't got to it in a while due to everything that's been going on with me here. So guys, Digibyte trying to find support off this 100 moving average in white. If we can find that, get some good penetration into yesterday's candle, then we could potentially go up there and try to challenge around that 0.02599 is going to be the next area of overhead resistance that we're going to be looking for. Stock is oversold. We're at 10 and 4.25. RSI is at 40. Trying to get a bounce off here, trying to get a little stock cross. Got about average volume coming in so far, but we still have a good amount of time before to close today. If we could turn that into like a bullish engulfing candle or something, that'd be important. But we do have these long wicks up here where we tried to test back up to the 30 and we saw rejection. But at this point right now, how much we've retraced from those tweezer tops that we were talking about for so long. Yesterday in my book I was reading, as I was in the waiting room, we were looking at these symmetrical triangles, and a lot of the times you'll go back to that symmetrical triangle and try to find support. It can be a strong area of support, and so far we are getting that support. So let's see what type of bounce we get out of here. That's going to be what's most important for us, if we can hold the support of the symmetrical triangle apex. So that's going to be Digibyte. Next we're going to take a look at Link. Link's at $12.45. A little bit of a tweezer bottom here. If we could hold this today and candle close up above our 30, a little bit heavier volumes coming in, so that'd be nice to see some buying pressure, but we're looking for that penetration of today's candle up into yesterday's candle, see how deep we can get. But these tweezer bottoms right here, this area that we're looking at, if you can see that, those are typically important. When we get tweezer bottoms, a lot of times we'll get a nice little bounce off that, but we have to see where the candle closes today, because if we get a lot of rejection, we start dropping back down there, then that tweezer could get covered up and it wouldn't be significant anymore. Okay, so we're always looking at those areas, and that's off the 60. So tweezers off the 60 may be an area that we get a bounce. If we don't get a bounce off that, I'm going to be looking down to $8.92. It's an area we've had in here for quite a while. I told you that'd be an area that I would want to be a buyer. It would also correlate with this 100 moving average for Link. Link right now, the stock is at 3 and 13. This on the one-day time frame as well, and the RSI is at 43. If we take a look at the technicals, we have a 13 sell, 9 neutral, and a 6 buy is what we have right there. So just be careful in those defensive positions now. We're looking for that potential layering into positions if we drop to even lower levels there. That's something I'm going to be looking at around that $8.92 if we get down to it. So that's going to be Link. Then we're going to move into Tezos. Tezos is at $2.68, been beat up a little bit here. We have dropped below the 100 moving average. So the next one we're going to be looking for is the 200 moving average. I don't have it up on my chart right now, but that is the area we're going to be looking at. And then it's going to be down around this $2.22 is going to be a support area for us that we're going to be paying attention to. And that would be the previous area that we started this uptrend and got a nice bounce off of before with increased volume coming in. And that's what it'd take for us to get moving to the upside here, because this has been a pretty extreme sell-off. We have went down from the high roughly about 50%. And yet again, that's the importance of taking profits, guys. I did a whole video on these wicks, and I'm just going to point it out there again. Look at the wicks up here, how long they are, what happened after that, sell off. Look how many wicks up here, how long they are, what happened after that, sell off. And same for the bottom. When you get a lot of wicks around a support area, that can potentially mean that you're going to get a bounce to the upside. So these are little secrets for people who are listening that I want to put out there. Sometimes when you get these wicks with a stock cross to the downside or your RSI's up in the 90s, that can tell you to take some profit. So important to take some profit. So those are the areas we're going to be looking at, guys, for Tezos. If you like these, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. God bless each and every one of you. Take care, my friends. See if we can bounce off these areas.